Hello, welcome back to the channel Up the Reds TV with me, Andy Cambay. This is the pre-match to our game against AC Milan tomorrow at the Hong Kong Stadium, obviously in Hong Kong, for the Hong Kong Football Festival, which takes place over this weekend. I think the other two teams that are playing each other there are Tottenham and Arsenal. It's the first game in that stadium, and the lads have been training there for a couple of days and getting used to the heat and the atmosphere. 25,000 were allowed to watch the training session. Do you know what? I know they go all over the world to sell the Liverpool brand, but it would be nice if they did that in pre-season over here, at Anfield. Just have a minimum crowd watching it. I know we hold 60,000, but that stadium in Hong Kong holds 50,000, so they had 25,000. Excuse me. It was good for the locals. I'm sure there was other supporters there as well. So training session's been ramped up by Arne Slot and his coaches, and all the new faces were there. Well, at least 6 of them out of the 7 that we've signed this season. I can see you working out who the 7 are. I'll just give you that: Mohamedashvili, Woodman, and Pucic, the 3 goalkeepers. We've got Frimpong, Kirkes, Verts, and now Ekitike, which makes number 7. It could be number 8, but I'll touch that on in a moment or two. So, what's the team he's going to play out tomorrow? I'd like to see a strong team. I don't think it'll be 2 halves of 45. I think this being the 3rd game in pre-season, obviously you played Preston and the closed behind doors game against Stoke. It's going to be interesting, but AC Milan, I think they'll put out a very strong team. They've got Luka Modric, who's gone there, hasn't he? The great Luka Modric from Real Madrid. So he'll be in the squad, and a few others from last season. The English striker that just I forget at the moment who he is, but yeah, if it comes to me, I'll shout it in here. But yeah, so I think it'll be a good game for the new look Liverpool squad. If I was there and I was picking the team, probably start with Ali. Put Jeremy Frimpong right back. Put Kirkes left back. Start with Kanate and Virgil. And then in midfield, it'd be Gravenberg, Slobosly, and possibly, this is where I come unstuck. I don't think we'll see Maka. It could be Curtis Jones might get a run out there. And then up front, Mo, Kirkes, not Verts, and I'll probably put Gakpo on the left-hand side and use Verts as the false 9 and try and play like that. But yeah, I mean, it could be any combination with these new signings. I might be totally wrong. You might start with the old guard. As I say, I don't think you'll get 45 minutes. I think you might go 60-30. Give the first 11 60-minute run out, and then make the changes after 60, and then give half an hour to the rest of the squad. But I noticed that the pitch had cut up a bit in the training sessions. Hopefully they'll get that sorted out and ready for that 12:30 kickoff, which is BS time. So are they 5 hours ahead of us or behind us? Are they ahead up? I don't know. It's what it is. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. There's it'll be really, really interesting. As I said, we're stepping up the pre-season. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes to sort of like establish the club even further in that neck of the woods, and you could see that by them opening up another Liverpool superstore in Hong Kong, and I think Kenny and Rushy had cut the ribbon for that one. So money's rolling in for Liverpool, and yeah. So on that note, let's talk about the money. There's been a lot of speculation of how Liverpool have come to this point. It's dead simple. We haven't spent well in what we've earned in the last 3 windows. I think was it 10-12 million pound for Chiesa, but after that it's been we've been keeping hold of the pennies, and the reason that we're keeping hold of the pennies was that, look, we couldn't get our number 1 targets, and we couldn't get our number 2 targets, and then Liverpool weren't going to waste their money on number 3 targets, because that's just throwing money down the drain for me. And I think it's been a very clever ploy with the way that they've acted in those windows. And don't forget, we didn't have Edwards and Hughes in those windows. Well, we did for January, but nothing really happened. Mohamedashvili was signed last season theoretically, and he went back out on loan. So yeah, they've been very frugal with the purse strings, and finally, after winning the league last season, it was a case of, right, let's open up the purse, and let's get signing players. And the age of the players, 20, 21, 22, 23 years old, on long contracts, and I'm sure there will be clauses in those contracts as well. After what's gone on with Alexander-Arnold and what's going on with Konate, but I'll touch on Konate in a moment as well. So yeah, long contracts. So this squad is in it for the long haul. Look, Mo's got 2 years left on his contract. Virgil's got 2 years on his contract, so extra 2 years for both of them there. And we're planning now. We've planned in this transfer. I mean, never in my wildest dreams did I think that Liverpool Football Club would be signing 7 players in this transfer window, let alone in the last 2 windows or 3 windows. So, and it's not finished there from what we can gather. You know, they're still looking out for a centre half with Kwanzaa going to Leverkusen, so we are short in that department. They are looking at a out-and-out striker, and you know where my conversation's going to go there for that. Talking about Konate, there's rumours going around that he's been offered an improved contract, and there's a bit of a U-turn from him that he might sign. That's great news for us. As I say, we still need a centre-half being bought in, because there's really nobody good enough or in our academy under 21s to come through and play that role. So Mark Gay's been linked to us. He's available. We have to be very careful if we are going to go for him, because he will want to go where he's playing regularly, and he's going to be available for England for the World Cup next summer. Not that I'm asked about that. Can't stand international football or any international football country competition. So yeah. But there are probably other other irons that Liverpool are looking for or looking at. I've heard the under 21 player that plays for, is it Toulouse? He played with Harvey Elliott. Apparently, he had a good tournament. He could be available. The ex-Leeds youngster, and another young lad that's done quite well. And yeah, so there will be other options for Liverpool to look at. But yeah, the purse strings have certainly been let loose, and the team have really got their business done early. Look, I was critical of Edwards and Hughes about the way that they were doing the contracts for Mo, Verge, and Trent, and I said that the silence was deafening, because we weren't getting anything from them, or the club for that matter, because we were having a really good season, but we'd gone past January and nothing was heard about Mo, Virgil, or Trent. And then we had the good news of both Mo and Virgil signing new contracts, and obviously Alexander Arnold decided he was going to go to pastures new. So 2 out of 3 wasn't really bad, and if we all look at hindsight, that I think out of the 3 we got the best 2 from that. So yeah. So a player that's been heavily linked by other YouTubers, other aggregators, sports journalists, is one Alexander Isak. Now, why has it come to this? For him, I think there's a number of factors. Obviously, people are saying his head's been turned. I don't believe so. I think he was going to leave anyway, and he was probably going to leave after the season because of what was promised to him and then not promised to him. Obviously, there was Amanda Staveley. She was there with the other guy from the consortium. They both left the club, probably sacked, for whatever reason. New club, a new ownership team came in. When I say new ownership, the ownership put a new team in, and Mitchell was brought in, but he was soon at loggerheads, telling players they weren't going to get this pay rise or that pay rise, what the old regime had promised them. So, but no further negotiations were done with certain players, and yeah, so Eddie Howe, there's a fella called Eels there, and Eddie Howe's nephew are looking at player recruitment. Now, it just sounds old school of Liverpool. That's the way that we used to be doing things pre Edwards, Hughes, Julian Ward, if you remember him. So they're in our boat. Yeah, they've got the richest owners in the world. Nobody disputes that. They are held back with PSR, but the thing is, they've not really moved forward apart from winning the trophy last season and beating us and getting back into the Champions League. That's what that squad is looking thin for me to compete in all competitions. I'm only a person that's looking in from the outside and hearing voices about what's going on at that club. There's been no talk about a new training ground, no spade being put down for that to be rebuilt, be built. There's talk about expanding the stadium or moving it to getting more Geordie supporters. They are just as passionate supporters as us Reds, very vocal, and they could probably fill that stadium twice over, if I'm honest with you. But they have got problems at the club. They've got hands tied behind their back, and their supporters are now seeing what it's like. People are saying the rules are not fit for the PSR rules are not fit for a team like Newcastle, because teams like Chelsea, Man City, Notts Forest, Brighton for that matter, have gone out and spent lots of money without any repercussions. Well, it's not actually true, because Chelsea have been done, City have been done. However, City have got the best lawyers in the world to delay the outcome of what's happened to them. I think Chelsea cannot keep spewing money in and not getting any rewards. I mean, if you call a reward of winning the Crazy World Club World Cup, which was stupid, not the best teams in the world were in it, from Europe, certainly from Asia, and it was a bit of a mockery, really. I mean, like I said, I didn't watch any of that garbage. It was a FIFA thing, and it's I can't see it happening again in 4 years' time, if I'm honest with you, because players will be in a stronger position to say enough is enough. We don't want to play these competitions. We need rest. So yeah, going back on to Isaac about Newcastle, their club being in. There's lots of YouTubers on here excited that Liverpool are going to sign Alexander Isak. The ball is in Newcastle's court. If they want to play hardball, that they're not going to sell. But you don't keep an unhappy player at the club. We have found out to our detriment in the past. Torres, Suarez, Coutinho. I don't want to go into the histrionics of why Isaac has not gone on that tour to Singapore. He's your star man. He's the star quality. If Newcastle are building for the future, they're trying to gain access into the Asian market. Newcastle have fans worldwide, but every team has fans worldwide. But you have to build that growth. I would say at the moment, Newcastle are probably 10 years, 15 years behind the likes of Liverpool. We've been certainly at the top table for a while, and then we dropped off at that top table because we had our own issues, selling to Gillette and Hicks, and nearly going bankrupt and out of business. Then FSG came in. It was at the beginning a roller coaster with them until they got the managerial appointment right, bringing Jurgen Klopp in, and then Jurgen sprinkled his magic dust, and then again, just like in football, there's always things going behind the scenes. The transfer committee went one by one. It was brought back in. Jurgen's left. They brought in on Slot. We had no Scooby of what he was going to do last season. We were just thinking, let's make top four and let's get into the Champions League because that's extra dough and that's how you attract players. Now, Newcastle's problem is they're not attracting players because they can't pay the wages, and the wages are massive now, absolutely massive. To earn, a decent wage in the Premier League, it's unbelievable. And some players, I'd never thought in my lifetime that I would see that the wages that some of these top players and not so top players are earning at these Premier League clubs. And I keep thinking that the bubble's going to burst one day, and it's going to come back and bite the Premier League. But look, we have turned full circle. We have now spent a lot of money. We could spend further on a centre forward. Isak's situation again. What do I think? Do I think we will sign him? If he wants to come, he's told the club he's looking at all options. Eddie Howe said, look, I understand that the player's career is a short career. It's a short career, but it's a well-paid career. Look, let's not make any mistake about this. He's earning £120,000 per week at Newcastle. That's a decent and a good wage. Yes, he's probably the number one striker in Europe, the world, if some people want to put it like that. So he's asking for 300,000. He's not going to get 300,000 at Liverpool. He'll probably get 250, 275 maybe, plus add-ons, because that's how Liverpool's structure is. It's all worked on a basic wage with add-ons. So he would be he would come into that category as well. Would I like him at Liverpool? Of course I'd like him at Liverpool if he was available. But like I said, there's a lot of groundwork to be done. Okay, people saying, well, Liverpool started it by making an inquiry. Liverpool were told that he wasn't for sale. So Liverpool said, okay, that isn't a problem. But they never went back to Newcastle and said, we're going to go and sign Ekatike, because that's just silly. They just went and signed the next available option. But don't forget, Hugo Ekatike, he can play in 2 or 3 different positions. He's not just an out-and-out striker. So yeah. So it's like that at Newcastle. They are in a mess. There's no structure. And if they're not careful, they won't sign many players because of what's going on at that club. And it's just constructive criticism from a supporter of another team looking in from the outside. I might be totally wrong. I might get lambasted for saying this from some Newcastle supporters, but you've take the money. If it's not from us, it might be from somebody else. Take the money and start your rebuild. We did that with Philip Coutinho. The joke that's going around is that we've never spent it. We've never spent the money that we got from him. So yeah. So that's me. Enough on here this evening. I'll watch the game tomorrow, and I will do a post-match of the game and bring you any other news that we might have. Enjoy your Friday evening, and hope you enjoy the game tomorrow. And I will speak to you then afterwards. And and have a boss weekend up the Reds.